Back now with our politics buzzboard, topping it off just 1 month from Election Day, ISIS invading campaign airwaves. Tough GOP ads in tight Senate races from New Hampshire to Colorado, like this one in North Carolina from Tom Tillis.
While ISIS grew, Obama kept waiting, and Kay Hagan kept quiet.
Hagan fired back.
I think North Carolinians need to know his position, and he is spineless in this regard.
President Obama talking up the economy and his agenda.
I'm not on the ballot this fall, but make no mistake, these policies are on the ballot. Every single one of them.
But was it smart to make the midterms an Obama referendum? GOP candidates pounced, and new grandmother Hillary Clinton is hitting the trail. Political reports that show barnstorm key midterm states like Colorado, Iowa, and New Hampshire when not babysitting Charlotte. Add it all up, and Nate Silver's team at 538 gives the GOP a 59% chance of retaking the Senate, down 1 point from last week. Back now with the roundtable, Mark Halperin Bloomberg. Is Nate Silver right to move it just an inch away from the Republicans?
I don't know. In the world of margin of error, I'm not sure that's much of a move. Right now, Democrats must change the electorate. And I think the reason you see President Obama injecting his economic record in, and you see him attacking Fox News in that same speech, is because they need to change the electorate. They need to get the coalition of the ascendant, the Obama voters who don't normally vote in the midterms, to vote in places like North Carolina and Iowa. Go race by race today. They've got 3 of the 6 in the bag. Republicans do. I think right now they would get the final 3. Kansas, though, is a huge problem for the Republicans. They may end up netting 5, even though they win 6.
Pat Roberts not closing the gap there at all. Van Jones, I have to ask you this. I understand what Mark is saying about energizing the Obama electorate, but it did not seem like a wise move for the president to put his agenda front and center like that.
Well, we've got to get our base going. The other thing, too, is that we can't let the Republicans get away with some of the stuff they're doing this week, just trying to bash Obama. Hey, government is always your enemy until you need a friend. This Ebola thing is the best argument you can make for the kind of government that we believe in. A year ago, Ted Cruz shut down America's government, shut down the CDC over shenanigans. What if that happened this year? You got to start putting the Republicans on the defensive for the fact that they believe that you can take a wrecking ball to America's government, never pay a price. Obamacare means that 8 million people who couldn't have gone to the doctor last year, if they feel sick today, they wonder they got Obama, they can go see the doctor. The Democrats got to start talking like that.
But, Peggy, that does not seem to be top of mind to voters right now, and certainly the campaigns, at least the Republican campaigns, want to make this ISIS issue front and center.
Yeah, there's ISIS, there's a bunch of stuff. Look, the Republicans in some of the close cases have been very interested in hanging the past 6 years on their Democratic opponents. I think that the president meant to help his Democrats out in the field when he said in his speech the other night, I am not on the ballot, but my agenda is. Well, how many Republican senators moved forward and started saying, that's right, it's his agenda that we're voting on? I don't think that did him or them a lot of good.
And we'll see the president raising money, John Howman. We will not see him in those close states. But as you're going to write about in Bloomberg tomorrow, we will be seeing a lot of both Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton.
I mean, it's really striking. If you think about the races that are in play, President Obama is welcome in virtually none of those states. He will not be going to most of these close contested Senate races, some of the governor's races, but he's going to basically be on the coasts raising money. Hillary Clinton is welcome everywhere and will be almost everywhere. And then her husband also welcome everywhere and will be almost everywhere. They can do things. The candidates want them there as a matter of persuasion, as a matter of getting out the vote. And I think it signifies a kind of big moment in the party because it is this, for the last 6 years, this has been Barack Obama's Democratic Party. It's not been the Clintons' party. They've been in the wings. This is the moment where they come out and they more or less take control of the Democratic Party.
But they're going to have to put some W's on the board.
They are going to have to do that.
You can even go back longer than 6 years. Remember, Barack Obama came to national prominence in 2004, got elected. What did he do in 2006? He campaigned everywhere in the midterms. He went to Missouri. He went to northern Florida. He was welcomed everywhere. And as John's piece makes clear, right now, there are very few places in this country where there are contested races.
You got more people going to the polls, Van Jones, saying they want to vote, send a message against President Obama than those saying you want to send a message for him.
Well, that's true. This president is not as popular as he once was. But he is not wrong. His policies are incredibly popular. You have a Republican Party that won't raise the minimum wage, that won't extend unemployment insurance to active job seekers who just need a little bit more runway. They won't be for fair pay for women. They won't help on student loans. So the Republican agenda is incredibly unpopular. Just because President Obama is not as popular, we've got great people out there like Elizabeth Warren, like Hillary Clinton, and Bill Clinton to build that case. I think that's important.
And these races still are close. We're seeing Jeb Bush out on the trail as well. And we did hear from his brother, the former president, this week.
Yeah, I think he wants to be president. I think he'd be a great president. He understands what it's like to be president for not only the person running or serving, plus family. He's seen his dad. He's seen his brother.
So a little
You're talking about somebody
right
who can't be seen anywhere. That's somebody who can't be seen anywhere. That's the president who can't be seen anywhere.
He's not going to go out there.
In the Dallas suburbs.
A lot of nudging of Jeb Bush. He seems to be holding back a little bit.
This was the first time the interview with former President George W. Bush that I thought, geez, maybe Jeb is going to go forward. I had been feeling his ambivalence. May I say, then, I think the story of next month's election is on the Republican side. The past 6 years didn't work. And on the Democratic side, we're not sure the past 6 years worked. Let's look at Hillary and Bill. That, I think, is the under meaning of all of it.
You guys nodding your head when Peggy was talking about Jeb.
Well,
I've got a piece. John's writing about the Clintons. I've got a piece about Jeb coming, about where he stands. And it's funny, this week he was out impressing people on the campaign trail, raising money. There are those who say he's definitely in. I had 3 calls from people this week saying he's in. And there are people saying there's no way he's running because of 3 generations of Bush women. The reality is both more simple and more complicated. He hasn't decided, but he is much closer to running than people realize.
If you haven't decided at this point, are you running?
Well,
he can decide in January. The thing about Jeb Bush is he can decide late. He is a monster fundraiser. He is very popular with elites in the party. He's got some work to do on Common Core and immigration, work to do at the grassroots. But in terms of what normally gets you the Republican nomination, elite support and fundraising, he is first among equals in this field.
But here's what you got to say. If you want to put competence on the table, you got a Republican Party with Chris Christie, Ted Cruz, Rand Paul, and somebody named Bush. I'll take that fight in 2016 any day.
Which is why some people, we only have a few seconds left, John Hahn, which is why some people are talking about your first guest in your program tomorrow, Mitt Romney, opening the door just a tiny, tiny bit.
Opening the door more than a tiny bit. You know, there's a story, Byron York wrote the story this week, had talked to a lot of Romney people, and it was a very obviously planted story in the sense that he had cooperation on background from a lot of people in Romney's world who were saying, yeah, he's really looking at it. I think he's been looking at it more and more seriously over the course of the last few months, and I think he's more interested today in some ways for some of the same reasons that he actually got in the race in 2012, which was he looks at the field that Van just talked about and says, I don't think there's anybody else out there who might be able to win.
That's what always drives people in.
But the elites and the money men also like Romney a lot, as much as they like Jeb. So that might be a little interesting to see, no?
Cannot decide until after Jeb.